The room was loud with laughter, the fake but perfect type of laughter. People smiled like they had nothing to hide. Then I stood up. The noise didn't stop right away. I wasn't important enough for that, and especially not to them. So I raised my glass high and slammed a spoon against it. Clink, clink, clink. Now I had their attention. I know we're all supposed to be toasting to family, I said, steady but loud enough to cut the air. But before that, I have something else we can all toast to. It's called the truth you all pretend not to know. A few people laughed. Others were nervous and confused. I unfolded the paper slowly. I wanted them to feel it. The silence. The shift. My hands didn't shake. Not this time. Some of you sitting here have cheated, stolen, lied, and touched people you had no right to touch. And all of you, you looked away. That's when the room froze. One aunt lowered her glass. Someone dropped a fork. Even Uncle Greg, the loudest of them all, went quiet. I smiled, but not the kind that says I'm happy to be here. The kind that says, I've waited years for this. Then I looked each one of them in the eye, and I started reading. They all stared at me like I'd grown wings or horns. But none of this should have been a surprise. They just never paid attention. See, I've always been Lisa, the quiet one, the helper, and the one who fades into the background. I'm 32. I work a regular job. I don't drive a fancy car or wear designer shoes, and that makes me nothing in this family. At reunions, I'm the last to get invited. At dinners, I'm the one they ask to serve the drinks. I've been called lazy, slow, too sensitive, and too quiet. I've had people laugh at me to my face and behind my back. To them, I'm not really family. I'm the girl they pull out when they need to feel better about themselves. I'm the joke, the shadow, and the help in heels. One may ask me why I keep showing up when I know they will always make derogatory remarks. However, I believe in family, though mine consists of people sent from hell to torment me. Deep within me, I prayed that one day they would see me for who I am and start being nice to me. But it seemed like such a day would never come. But what they never understood is that I watch, I listen, and I remember. I know who drinks too much, who cheats, and who borrows money and never pays back. I've been in the kitchen when the whispers start. I've heard the secrets slip through closed doors. They thought I was too quiet to notice, but they were wrong. You want to know why I stood up? Why did I dare to speak at a table where I was never truly seen? Let me take you back. Every reunion has been a war, and I was always the loser. They'd send out invites weeks before, but mine would come 2 days before the event. Sometimes the night before. Oh, Lisa, we just assumed you wouldn't come, they'd say, fake smiles and all. And when I did show up, I wasn't one of them, but rather was for them. The one carrying trays while they posed for pictures. The one picking up plates, refilling drinks, and making sure everyone else was okay. No one asked how I was doing, and no one noticed when I sat alone. When the usual talks about progress and updates begin, I was usually called names like the disappointment, the broke one, and the one who never made it. I've been laughed at for speaking up, laughed at for dreaming, and laughed at for crying. Once I asked a question during a toast. They talked over me like I wasn't even there. Another time, someone made fun of my job right in front of me and everyone laughed. That kind of pain? It piles up. They made me feel like nothing, year after year. But I swallowed it, smiled, and stayed quiet. However, my resolve changed after my experience last month's supposed dinner. The invitation came, like always, last minute. 2 days to the family dinner. By now, I was used to it. The late notices, the lukewarm enthusiasm, the whispered plans I was never quite a part of. Still, I convinced myself to go. Maybe this time would be different. Maybe I'd feel seen and wanted. So I poured love into every flaky layer of the pies I baked, picked out a good bottle of wine, and even wore that burgundy dress that hugs in all the right places. The one that says, I made an effort. But when I pulled into the driveway of my parents' house, something felt off. The lights were on, but the silence inside was loud. No laughter, no clinking of cutlery, no hum of adult chatter. I opened the door to find only my nieces and nephews, barefoot, cross-legged on the living room floor, watching cartoons and nibbling on crackers. Confused, I crouched down and asked, "Where is everyone?" My 7-year-old nephew looked up with innocent eyes and said, "Grandpa told us you were on your way to babysit. He said we should behave and not bother you." My heart stalled. I turned to the eldest, praying for some adult oversight I'd somehow missed. "Do you know where they went?" He shrugged. "I think a fancy restaurant." Everyone wore their best clothes. Mommy even curled her hair. "How long ago did they leave?" I asked, already knowing the answer I didn't want to hear. He glanced at the clock. "Maybe an hour or more." Then came the kicker. My younger sister had left a note, folded neatly on the kitchen counter like an afterthought. I opened it, hands trembling. "Dear Lisa, we really needed this night out. We're all exhausted. Thanks for helping with the kids. Dinner's in the fridge, and we'll be back late. No please at the start. No thank you at the end. Just a command, an expectation, and a dismissal wrapped in casual ink." And right then, just as my eyes blurred with disbelief, one of the little boys tugged on my sleeve and whispered, "Auntie Lisa, will you stay with us till we fall asleep?" I forced a smile, nodded, and told them I would stay. Because they didn't deserve to feel the coldness that was building inside me. But make no mistake, I was done. That night was my reckoning, my moment of clarity. They excluded me on purpose. And from that moment on, I vowed, the next time they feel my presence, it won't be as the family's convenient afterthought. It will be like the storm they never saw coming. This time, when the invite finally came, I didn't roll my eyes. I didn't cry. I just smiled. Because I already knew I was coming, but not to play nice. I planned everything, every word and every moment. And if anyone dared to look down on me again, I'd serve them something they'd never forget, a full course of truth. I arrived late, not because I wanted to, but because my invite said 6:30 p.m. Turns out, dinner started at 5. Typical of them. As I walked in, heads turned and eyes rolled. Someone whispered, "Of course she's late." I didn't flinch. The table was full. My parents, my 3 siblings, 3 uncles, 3 aunts, 5 cousins. All dressed up and smiling like we were some perfect family out of a TV show. But I knew better. Dinner was served, forks moved, and laughter floated across the room like music. Then Uncle Fred stood up, the so-called patriarch, and lifted his glass. "To family, to love, and to unity," he said, smiling widely. I took a breath. Then I stood. And this time I didn't wait for their usual insults and annoying sentences and phrases to begin. "Actually, I have a toast of my own," I said. There was silence as they didn't expect me, of all people, to talk. Forks froze mid-air. My mother blinked like she didn't hear right while my sister raised an eyebrow. I cleared my throat. My hands didn't shake. As I'd waited too long for this, from my bag I pulled out a folded letter. Then I made a toast, saying, "To the truth you all pretend not to know." I smiled, though not the sweet kind, the I warned you kind, They were all confused by my statement, and I could see them trying to make sense of what I said. I think it's time we all stop pretending, I said. Since we love truth and unity so much, then I began. I called out Raymond, my cousin with the shiny car and Instagram perfect life. Your business? It's a scam. I've got emails, client, messages, even a voice note of you admitting it. You think you can keep on taking people's hard-earned money with stupid promises. You're lucky I didn't call the cops on you, or maybe I should after this so-called dinner, I said. Then, Aunt Sylvia, are you still seeing that boy who's half your age? Hope your husband doesn't check your DMs. Next, Clara. Faking a degree for 2 years? That's a bold move, especially when you don't know how to spell bachelor. My brother, the golden child? Secret gambling and multiple times. You borrowed from Dad's account without telling him. I've got the receipts. Do I tell everyone how much you're owing with your gambling habits? Scratch the question. That's a total of $250,000, and yes, I added the one from 2 days ago. Uncle Dave, the one who always preaches honesty? You worked with the lawyer and revised Grandma's will and took everything for yourself. I have the voice recording where you admitted it to Mike while drunk. Then Uncle Clover. The nanny, Uncle? Really? And you told her you'd fire her if she spoke up? What are your plans regarding her pregnancy? Carrying to full term or removing it? And then... My father, I paused, while everyone leaned in. You always told us to be honest, to protect the family, and I guess that's why you keep your 15-year-old daughter a secret from the family. Don't worry, I have met her, and she's a sweet little girl living with her mom. After my speech, no one moved, and no one breathed. Several mouths hung open. I raised my glass. To the truth, I said, and to finally being seen. I took a huge gulp of my drink because I didn't know I would be able to spill everything boldly. At first, no one said a word. Then, all at once, the table exploded. Liar! You made all this up. This is disgusting. Someone knocked over a wine glass. Red stains spilled across the white tablecloth like blood. My aunt lunged across the table, trying to grab the letter from my hand. I let her snatch it and watch her rip it in two. You think I need this paper? I said, calm as ever. I memorized every word, and check your phones. The proof is already in your hands. At that moment, I tapped my phone and sent an already drafted broadcast message to everyone in the room. Just at that moment, several phones buzzed, indicating the receipt of my messages, which contained photos and voice recordings of all their deceits. My brother stood up, face red. You're ruining the family, I smiled. No, I said. I'm just telling the truth. You ruined yourselves. Then I took a breath, a deep one. My heart was loud in my chest. But I wasn't done. Not yet. There's one more thing. Everyone froze. I was 12. My voice cracked, just a little. But I kept going. I told Mom and Dad that one of my uncles touched and hurt me. This so-called uncle had his way with me several times. Eyes widened and some mouths dropped open. They said I misunderstood, that I must have been confused, that I should stay quiet, for the family's image. I looked around the room at the very people who called me weak, crazy, and dramatic. Well, guess what, I said. That uncle is in this room, right now. Gasps shot through the air like bullets. A wine glass slipped from someone's hand and shattered on the floor. A chair scraped loudly against the tiles. My mom covered her mouth, and my dad couldn't look at me. I raised my glass again, this time, steady, strong. To the truth, I said, whether you like it or not. And I turned around and walked out. My steps were slow, calm, and with my head high. Behind me, the storm hit. I heard my cousin scream, not the playful kind, the kind that comes from deep, deep pain. Then a glass broke again, and I heard the crashing of chairs. Two uncles started yelling, and one punched the other. Someone shouted, "Stop it!" But no one listened. Auntie Grace fainted, just dropped, like the weight of the truth knocked her out. My mom was on the floor too, crying, shaking, saying my name over and over like a prayer. But it was too late for that. As I kept walking, I could feel it. The whole fake world they built collapsing. Their perfect image, gone. The family name they protected so badly, torn to shreds. They called me the black sheep, the ghost, and the one who never made it. But now they'll never forget me. And me, I've never felt lighter. For the first time, I'm free.
If you loved this twist, just wait. There's more where that came from. Watch the next revenge story now and see karma strike again. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep the stories coming.